Alright, so to evaluate fog, that means to take G and evaluate the function f at G. So plug G into the variables for f. And golf means you just go the other way. You're plugging the function f into the variables for G. Well, what does that mean? Alright, if we look at example 3 on page 213, they give us f of x is equal to x squared minus 1, and that g of x is equal to the monomial 3 of x, 3x. So they give us a pretty simple example. And they asked us to find fog and golf, or f of g of x. I like to write it like this so that I'm sure of what I'm doing. This is fog. This is fog. So we're going to take G and we're going to put it in the place of X. That's it. Substitution property means it's like in a ball game. If somebody substitutes, somebody else has got to come out. And so this X is going to come out and this 3X is going in its place. And we just simplify that. So the answer would be 3 squared x squared minus 1. So we evaluated a function at a function. We did the composition function. And again, that's a pretty simple example. I just plugged it in for the x. And the reason I put it in parentheses is because I had to square it all. So you wouldn't just, like if I wrote this, just the x is squared. So to include the 3, I have to do parentheses. Is that okay? Okay, golf means I'm going to take F and plug it into G. So in this case, I'm going to hold up now. I'm going to take this whole thing and put it right here. The most common mistake of these is doing them backwards. So remember, whichever one's in the parentheses is the one you're plugging in. So I'm taking all of F and putting it right here. So 3 times x squared minus 1. And that gives me 3x squared minus 3. So fog and golf do not have to be equal. If they are equal, we're going to talk about that later.
We put up the distributive property?
Yes, I just did the distributive property. That's right. Okay. Questions about that? We evaluated a function at a function. It's just something you haven't seen. It's not that it's too hard to do. It's just a new notation. Alright, the try this underneath this example has f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 3. And g of x is equal to negative 2x. Alright, see if you can find fog, which if you'll remember means you're going to plug g into f. See if you can do that. Alright, so you took the whole function of g and put it right here. And so we have to square the negative 2 and the x. Multiply that by negative 2 and then add 3. Is that okay? Questions? There were 2 2's. There was one in F and there was one in G. This one went inside the parentheses. This one is on the outside.
on the -2 and all that for it.
Oh, okay. Remember, in the order of operations, x must come before multiplication.
Um,
All right, see if you can find golf. And that means you're going to plug F into G. You're going to go the other way. All right, so this time you're going to take this whole thing and you're going to put it here. Now here's my concern. Is anybody getting these backwards? If you are, just pay attention to the one that's on the inside is the one you're plugging in. The one on the outside is what you're plugging in too. Any questions? Okay, on your packet, let's look at number 29. Now, we're told to find hog. Oh, that's not a T. X, that's a T. So that means we're going to plug G into H. But this is not as simple as the one in the book because we have a binomial to plug in the place of this variable, and that binomial is going to be squared. So you just have to remember to multiply it by itself by using the full method. That's all there is to that. But we've done this problem before. It's just not looked like hog. You know, it's not in a composite function. Okay, so what does that mean? That means I take t minus 5 and I FOIL that out. And then I don't forget at the end to add this 1 along for the answer, okay? So that would mean when I'm multiplying two binomials, I do first, outer, inner, last. The shortcut is you square the first term, you find the product of these, and you double it because that's where this minus 10t is going to come from when I combine those. And then you square the last. That's where the 25 would come from. Of course, when you add 25 and 1, you get 26. So be careful when you're squaring a binomial. Okay, also, you might be given a problem like, you need me to go back? Okay. You might be given a problem like in the book, let's do 43. We'll pick an easy one. In the book, in the textbook, we'll do 43. Okay, 43, we're given f is 3x minus 4. And g of x is negative x squared. Now we're told to find fog evaluated at 2. I'm going to show you 2 ways to go about this. Just to practice, because it's what we've done today, find fog. Just find plain old fog. In other words, plug G into F. See what you come up with. Did you get this? Okay. That's just fog. Right. This problem is asking us to evaluate this function fog at 2. So we did problems like that earlier in the week, where all we have to do is take 2 and put it in the place of x to get an answer. And so this final answer would be negative 12 minus 4, negative 16. Now these problems in your homework packet are like 35 through 38, where you have a number, and then 39 to 42 you have variables involved. Let me show you an alternate plan that you might like better. That one was just practicing doing the composition function fog. Alright, again, if I have f of x is 3x minus 4, and I have g of x is equal to negative x squared, and the problem says find f of g of 2. Or in other words, f of g of 2. What do you think this part, if we're going to work from the inside out, like you normally would with order of operations, if you're going to work from the inside out, what do you think this part's telling you to do? Okay, if this outside part wasn't here, and you were just looking at this, you would do what did you say? Put the 2 in the g equation first, and then take that answer and plug it into what? F. So this one all numerical, no variables really. So we're going to plug 2 into, this is supposed to be a negative x squared, it's pretty messy. We're going to plug 2 into g, so this would be negative, and then 2 squared would end up being negative 4. This negative's on the outside, and it's not part of the x. It's not part of what's being squared. So then we'll take this answer, and we'll plug it into f. So that would be 3 times negative 4 minus 4, so negative 12, and negative 4 is negative 16. That's the same answer we got when we did it the other way. So let's review what we did. You can either find the composition function and then plug in 2, or you can do order of operations working from the inside out, plug your number into the function that's with it, and then take that whole answer and plug it into the outside function. And both of them work. So on your packet, let's look at these problems. Look at problems like 29 through 34, and then look at problems like 35 through 38. Do you see a difference? 29 to 34 is not asking you to find any, not asking you to evaluate a function at any number. It's just asking you to straight up find the composition function like we were doing over here with fog and golf. That make sense? Ask me a question. On 29 through 34, you're just doing like this problem right here. You're finding fog or golf. On 35 through 38, you can do it either of these ways. Let me sort of squeeze that up so you can see it all at one time. You can either, I think I must have left part of it off down here. I did. You can either find the function, the composite function, and then plug in the 2 like we did up here on the top. Or you can work backwards from the inside out and plug 2 into the first function, then plug your answer into the other. That's not too bad at all. So how would you do a problem like 39, 40, 41, and 42? Uh-oh. All right, let's look at 39. And where to find fog of 1/2 A. Okay, so that is the same thing as finding 1/2 A, plugging 1/2 A into G, and then taking that answer and plugging it into F, or finding the composition function. You got 2 methods I'm showing you. Try not to get them confused. Aren't they fun? Fractions are so much fun. All right, let me do the composite function, then I'll do it the easy way. Just plug it in, okay? All right, to find fog, what function am I plugging in? G. What function am I plugging it into? F. So that would be 2 and then parentheses a cubed plus 5a, and so fog is 2a to the 3rd plus 10a. That's the new function. That's the composite function. So then to find 1/2 of that, or 1/2 A of that, I would take my new function, and everywhere there's a placeholder, right here and right here, what would I plug in? Over 2. So I'll have 2, and I'll have A over 2 to the 3rd power plus 10 times A over 2. Okay, simplify that for us. That's just pretty simple algebra. I know it's got fractions, but y'all can do it. Simplify. 2/8, will that reduce to 1/4? Now I found the composition function, then I plugged in. Yes, ma'am. Half of 10 is 2. Half of 10 is 5. Think about cross reducing 2. We're going to 10 5 times. Alright, that's one way. And you may think that's the easiest way. I don't know. That's a odd word to use with this, isn't it? All right, so let's do it another way. Let's say that I'm to find f of G of 1/2 A. That's what it's telling me to do. Then going the easier way, I'm going to plug 1/2 A into G. So that would give me 1/2 A cubed plus 5 times 1/2 A. Okay, simplify those. As much as I can do. So then I would take that answer and plug that into F. So that would give me 2 times, I'm plugging it in for my variable up here, a to the third over 8 plus 5a over 2. Again, well, 2 8s reduce. Got to 1/4. And what's 2 times 5 over 2? The 2's cancel, yeah. So I get the same answer. It's just whichever method you like better. You can find the composite function and then plug in your a over 2, or you can plug in your a over 2 into G and then take that answer and plug it into F. Which way y'all think is easier? First way or the second way? Usually I have disagreement, so I did. That's okay. Both ways work. Fractions are okay.
At least we did the one with fractions.
Right. Thought that was so nice of me. Alright, so you guys pick a problem 29 through 34. What do you think? Pick a problem 29 to 34.
No,
31.
never mind.
Do 30?
I'm at 32.
Is 32? Is 30 okay? I mean, it's just like 32 actually. All right, so 30, you have g of x equals x minus 4, and you have h of x equals x squared plus 2x. Okay, find find g of h of x. Do it all. I'm going to try to be quiet and let y'all figure it out, and then we'll work it together. Is your answer this? Okay. Now, I will throw you a curveball. You ready? Don't vary. Don't swing at it in the dirt here. Alright, so I want you to find hog. So now you're going to plug G into H, and it's going to be more involved. So now we're going to take this and put it here and here. Alright, see what you can do. Alright, let's see what we get here. Alright, so I'm gonna plug x minus 4 in here and here. When you FOIL this out, you should get x squared minus 8x plus 16. When you FOIL it out. Outer and inner are both negative 4x. And so that ends up being x squared minus 6x plus 8. Is there victory? Is there victory?
No, there's not.
Home run.
Home run!
How did you get the -8?
Minus 8 is 16 minus this 8.
But where did that 8 come from?
2 times negative 4. Distributive property.
Why is
That
there
was
negative?
due, work it out.
Because there's 2 variables, I have to plug in x minus 4.
I didn't see the second variable.
You just wrote it down, didn't you? That's, it's easy to do. Alright, so our assignment is to do 29 through 42, whatever we haven't done in class.